They wore those ugly ass statement jerseys for a reason, folks. They wore them for a reason last night. Let's just welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding
That
it.
is
It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Wow. That, man, like I said, they wore those statement jerseys for a reason. Goddamn, I missed the game too. Like the one game all year I decided to miss. I was in New York City. I was in Lower Manhattan, and I missed the Knicks game at the Garden. I was like 8 minutes of a subway ride away. I could have been there. I was at an Italian American club last night in New York City, having a good time, eating good food, shooting guns. And one of the my father's friend who took us there, or didn't take us, but he was the one who, I guess, brought up the idea. And he's a big Knicks fan, and I'm talking to him like, wait, don't tell me anything tonight. I recorded it all. I'm not expecting anything good. I'm gonna say it right here, and I'm gonna expose myself. I told him this might be a blowout loss. They're due for one. So we get there, eat, have a good time, do our thing. On the ride home, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock ish. So it's like the game's in the later stages, and he's like, "Hey Rob, you still don't want to know the score of the game?" And I'm like, "No, it's probably a blowout. Don't tell me." He's like, "You sure?" And I'm thinking, is that a good thing that he's doing this, or is it a bad thing? But I was like, maybe it is a good thing. So I get home, and I planned to watch the entire thing on DVR. And, stupidly enough, I'm in a rush. I want to see. So I skip the DVR. I log into the app, and, I see the score. I just see a big blowout. But I'm so, again, I'm in a rush. My mind's not in the right spot because I want to know what happened. And I just see a blowout. And I'm like, oh, it's one of those. Yep, everything I expected. And right when I was about to hit the X on the screen to back out of the tab, I'm like, wait a second. And I see the Knicks are up damn near fucking 40 points to the defending champions. And, man, you can't, even though you knew the result, you can't not watch that game. So I went back and watched the entire friggin' game, start to finish, and that is what we're going to talk about here in episode 617 of the podcast. Welcome to BD4. Thanks for stopping by. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. So, the Knicks beat the Denver Nuggets last night. And, they're starting to do some things, man. They're starting to, last night, when I saw the score of the game that the Knicks were winning, I got that feeling that I did last year when the Knicks beat Boston behind Quickly's 38 points in the double overtime game? During that 9-game streak. And I believe that was the night after the Randall game winner, if I'm correct. I got that same exact feeling, that euphoria type feeling, that magical feeling where it makes you feel like this is going to be one of those years. The feeling that tells you this year's team is special. like people should take this team serious. I got that feeling that I had last night. This was finally the point where I actually felt like, okay, I officially have the utmost confidence. And that wasn't until March last year. We're talking right now, and as I record this episode, it's January 26th, Friday night. I mean, I think that was it. I know that was it. Now, I want to see what happens against Miami tomorrow because as mediocre as they've been, it's Miami. There's the whole history. We'll talk about that. But, like, this team, they're here, man. You know? I mean, they're here. And to do that, to beat the defending champions, it did the trick. I'm speechless. Like, I don't know. I'm speechless. It was like, if you don't respect the Knicks by now, respect them. You know, if you don't simply take them serious, then please don't ever. Then just go away. Stop talking about them. Stop bringing them up. And just stop. Because what have they what else do they have to do for you? They beat the Bucks on Christmas. That was before the OG Anunoby trade. A few days later, they make that trade. They get OG. They blow out Minnesota. They beat the pulp out of the Sixers in Philly by 38 points. They go to the Garden a few weeks later. And then last night they blow out the Denver Nuggets by 38 points as well, the defending champions. And now they are 11-2 in the new year since this trade. 5 wins in a row. They currently have the 4 seed, and they're only 2 games back from the number 3 seed. So, if you're not here by now, we don't want you. This was the game that should catch everybody's attention. If it hasn't yet. And I'm not just talking about the media. And we'll talk more about the media right now, but like opposing teams too in the Eastern Conference. Nobody wants to play the Knicks in a playoff series. Nobody, not even Miami. Like, I don't think there's a team out there that's like, oh, I'm dying to play this team because it's going to be easy. The Knicks are going to make life hell for you because who's their head coach? Every player under this guy has to fit this mold. And that could be to a fault sometimes, but they're the fighting Tibbs. What do they call them? The fighting Tibbs? The fighting Thibodeaus? If you are not on your game, they're going to grind this shit out, and they might not win, but they're certainly going to make you feel like you're about to lose. They're certainly going to make you put your foot on the pedal eventually if you aren't yet. If you're on the final night of a 5-game road trip and you run into this Knicks team at the Garden, good fucking luck. Good luck. And by the way, I think that excuse is a little ridiculous. They played the NBA champions. That doesn't matter. Doesn't change one thing. If you're going to use that excuse, I could do the same thing about the Knicks because they've had some losses this year that came in similar fashion. Pelicans. This team's legit. Again, I'm speechless because I just don't know. I could put the Knicks up a tier. I feel ridiculous calling them mediocre, calling them average just a few weeks ago. And I probably shouldn't even deserve to be having I don't deserve to have a fucking podcast if I'm like, this team's at the tier that's like right below automatic favorites for contenders. Because you got your Denvers, your Bostons, your Milwaukees. But it's like the Knicks are in that next tier. where they may not be finals favorites, but they're sleepers. I think they can definitely make an Eastern Conference Finals run. Yeah. Like, I still want that move. But with this next move, I definitely think it's possible. You know, you're going to go through ebbs and flows. We'll lose some more this year at some point, but make this next deal a decent one, man. Like, you keep going. You got to keep attacking. And, you know, obviously be careful. Don't want to fuck with the chemistry. But, like, I think this team's good enough to where you can not worry about that. And yes, the media. It's an every night thing. Whether it's Gilbert Arenas, whether it's Candace Owens, whether it is Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Stephen A. Smith, Becky Hammon, Candace Parker. Did I say Candace Owens, bro? Who's that again? Oh my God, that's the annoying bitch. The politics person. Jesus Christ, too much Twitter for me. Jesus. Any one of those freaks. Last night it was Kenny Smith again. I think he was the one to make the Paolo Banchero comments a few weeks, maybe a month ago. But yeah, last night, I don't want to dive too deep into this because I feel like we're making this a whole thing now. But Barkley was paying some respect to Jalen Brunson after he lost out to Dame in the All-Star starting vote. And he was just saying how Brunson, he said this before, he's always paying respects to Brunson, so I guess credit to him. But he said Brunson's one of the most impactful free agent signings ever, or something very close to that. And then as soon as he says that, you see Kenny Smith's face, and then he's like quick to just shut it down, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then he just turns it to this negative conversation, and he's like comparing Brunson to like Shaq and KD, and he's like, he's not this guy, he's not that. He's comparing him to all these Hall of Famers. It's like I said. It's like I said last episode. They are moving the goalposts. That's all these people do. They move the goalposts. It's cheating. And they will keep doing that. They're going to keep doing it. First, Brunson wasn't a starting point guard. Then he was overpaid. Then they needed to see him do it in the postseason. Now this year you got this storyline that he's not a 1A. He finally makes the All-Star team. He's probably going to make an All-NBA team. And all we want to say now is that he's not enter Hall of Fame talent here. It's Knicks for clicks. Right? And then, I think this was this morning, you know, Stephen A. Smith on his reality TV show, First Take, doing his bit, playing his character, right? He's doing his thing. All of a sudden, he's like all happy and proud of his Knicks. It's just like, literally last week, he was just hammering them and who is Isaiah Hartenstein and all that bullshit. Like, reverting to the Donovan Mitchell shit from 2 years ago. It's like, why do we think fan-made content creators and podcasters, why do we think all that kind of stuff is blowing up right now? Why is that a big, I don't want to say trend, but why is that huge? Why do we think podcasting and fan-made content is blowing up? Perhaps it's because it's real. It's authentic stuff. It's raw. It's legit. And it's not reality TV. It's not acting. It's not dramatics. It's not theatrics. It's not for casual NBA fans. This stuff on TV that you all see, the ESPN shit, that's what NBA fans watch. And most NBA fans they're all casual fans. They watch this shit. And so they follow these people and they get their opinions from these people. And that's exactly how narratives and propaganda come about. So my advice to you listening, watching, stick to podcasts. Subscribe to BD4. If you're trying to get into sports and you like hearing different opinions, stick to podcasts. Don't watch that ESPN shit. It's all fake. It's all hot takes, make-believe, pretend shit. To get the attention of the normies, the casuals, the outsiders. The real stuff is all the fan-made content. I listen to a ton of podcasts. So, don't, it's all a joke. Let's talk some Knicks. All right?
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You're listening to episode 617 of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to BD4. The Knicks stun the defending champs. Last night at MSG, they win 122-84 over the Denver Nuggets. And my gosh, was that fun. They get off to this very hot 22-7 start. Brunson's working pick and roll. Brunson and Randall get a few and ones in the first quarter. Second quarter was where the Knicks bench started to get out in transition. They were playing very elite fast break basketball. That put the Knicks up pretty big midway through. Grimes had some big baskets. OG Anunoby had a couple big threes, an and one finish in transition. And the Knicks were up 21 at half. Third quarter comes, and that's kind of where the Knicks put this game to bed. Brunson had some more moments. He had another and one, of course, because that's all he does. He threw down the dunk that Dante DiVincenzo rated as a 1. Fourth quarter comes, and it's all garbage time. Starters are sitting. OG is the only starter who played a few minutes in the fourth quarter. He had the steal and slam early on, but the starters sat pretty much the rest of the final few minutes of the third and then the entire fourth. So the Knicks would win 122-84 over the defending champion Denver Nuggets. 84 points, dude. The Knicks, listen, how is this Knicks team going to win? They're going to live off their defense, which has just been acceptable. No, it's been exceptional since the trade. Exceptional. Great offenses too. Like you're Minnesota, Philly, Denver, all of them quieted. 84 points to the Nuggets last night. The Knicks did from the 20th ranked defense before the trade. That's jumped all the way to 7th overall now in the season, which means in these 13 games post-trade, the Knicks have the number 1 defense in the league, and it's by an entire 3 points per 100 possessions. Like, it's elite. Or, I said last episode I didn't want to call it elite yet, but it's the tier right below that. You could call it elite. I feel disrespectful not saying that now. Both units are playing elite defense. And the bench unit, as bad as the offense can be at times with the bench unit, when you see what they bring you defensively, it's like, oh, I get it. Because you can be flexible with these lineups. How many times have I said since the OG trade, Thibodeau can now actually go through a true 3-wing lineup. He has true 3-wing lineups out there. You didn't have that option before with RJ. RJ was their size guy. He was the guy they put on size. He was the guy, he was the guy they could switch with, but he wasn't a true wing. OG Anunoby's a true wing, and you're seeing these lineups with OG, Grimes, and Hart. How is any guard going to stop that? How are you putting any of those guys in a pick and roll and expecting success? And when you put Deuce in there at point guard and then insert center here, preferably iHart, that's Jesus. You're not scoring on that. And those guys are playing such important, like the keys for those second unit guys, it's obviously pushing the tempo, getting out and running, right? And last night, I thought they put a commendable effort out there, just perfectly displaying the transition basketball the bench is going to need to play for them to succeed down the line this season. Because it's important for them to get out and run since they don't have a half-court initiator yet. But, like, yeah, it's listen, Quentin Grimes is most likely gone. They're going to miss him. Okay? They're going to miss his defense at the point of attack. You can't deny that. As disappointing as he's had of a year in terms of the shooting, his defense at the point of attack against those smaller wings and those guards, you're going to miss that when he's gone. They're going to have to figure out a way to, they're going to get some more offense, hopefully, but like early second quarter, Jamal Murray dribbles right into a triple team. Who's on the ball? Grimes is on the ball. Deuce digs. Precious isn't help. Jamal turns it over, and the Knicks have the numbers on 3-on-1 fast break. That's when Grimes draws contact, gets to the line. The next time down, Denver puts Grimes and OG into a pick and roll. Again, like I said, how are you getting away with that? Okay, so Jamal Murray switches OG off of him, but Grimes is on him, so he drives on Grimes. OG stunts at Jamal Murray. Precious is on the back line and help, and he blocks the shot. Hart grabs the board, throws it to somebody on the fast break, and Grimes knocks down the three in transition. It starts at the point of attack. That's how you get out in transition. His screen navigation is elite. It was on display last night. Look at some of those first half possessions where he's just getting through Jokic screens and rescreens like he's butter. Just kept getting through, staying attached to his man. He's drawing offensive fouls against Jokic with illegal screens and just, man. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was, okay. So, obviously on the podcast, you're not going to notice, but if you're watching the video, you probably saw my fucking face. I thought my tablet crashed. It does that from time to time because I use a tablet to record a damn podcast. Not the smartest thing you do because of the CPU usage, but I almost fucking, my facial expression just changed. If you're watching the video edit, you probably saw. I was like, if the screen flashed, I'm like, not again. Because just the other day I had to record an entire episode again because it crashed. Oh, okay. We're good. Where were we? The defense. Grimes, we're going to miss him at the point of attack when he's gone. OG Anunoby, man, like, is he the best wing defender in the NBA? I don't know. Kawhi Leonard still exists, but you know what? He's like a young Kawhi. He really is a young Kawhi Leonard. He's got the demeanor, but like the defense that he plays. Now Kawhi's more of an on-ball defender. OG obviously is, but what he's done, man, everywhere. His fingerprints are everywhere. He's so important that Tom Thibodeau challenged his second foul in the first quarter just so he can stay in the game. Like, Tibbs is in love with this dude. It's obvious. If it wasn't already obvious that he was, when he was playing him, Luol Deng minutes. But he's amazing. And I understand why Tibbs loves him. He's amazing. He's amazing in help. The stunts, the digs. He can recover so quickly. His defensive stance is awesome. You had that photo that kind of blew up last night. Try scoring on that. That is like that wide defensive stance. Jamal Murray, who he was on for most of the night, was a minus 29. OG was a plus 38. Probably a Nick low. 9 points for Jamal Murray on 3 of 11 shooting. It's you have to run your offense and make sure he's far away. Like if OG is in the action or if he's one pass from the action, he's gonna make impact. And you had Denver actively trying last night to to get into their set as far away from OG as possible. The dude is the definition of a ball hawk. And the off-ball defense, wow. Right? The screen navigation is just as elite as Grimes. Like, he's getting over DeAndre Jordan's screens like it's nothing. He's using his length, his size to stay attached and contest and force pass outs. The ball denial is incredible. There is that one possession, I think, late in the third quarter, just smothering Jamal Murray on the weak side to prevent DHO between Jokic and Jamal Murray. Unbelievable. That leads to a Hart steal, and the Knicks get a fast break basket. Fantastic in the pass lanes. I mean, the guy had 6 more steals last night. He's got 10 steals in the last 2 games. He was all over the pass lanes. The first quarter. He stunts at Jokic early. That was the challenge that Tibbs won. The Knicks got the ball. Jokic had 6, 7 maybe turnovers. In the middle of the second quarter, KCP slips the screen. OG's assignment was Aaron Gordon, who wasn't back into the half court yet. So OG made that read, jumps the pass lane, and the Jokic pass to KCP on the slip gets picked off by OG, who goes in transition, finishes, and draws the M1. Like, it's late second quarter. He brings help defense from the weak side when he jumps onto Michael Porter Jr., who's about to take a shot, forces the turnover there. He provided help defense on to help out Dante. In the middle of the third quarter, he comes from behind Aaron Gordon to pick off a Michael Porter Jr. entry pass. Late in the third, he uses his length to pick off Jokic, who was trying to hit the weak side. And then you had the steal and slam in the fourth quarter when he just kind of comes out of nowhere from the left wing and just leads the break. And the Knicks won the fast break overall 23-5 last night by forcing 19 turnovers. Again, it is super important that this bench unit scores by getting out and running because they don't have that backup guard for Brunson. They don't have a combo guard to initiate offense. And Tom Thibodeau doesn't exactly run them in the most creative sets. He doesn't run them in any different sets than he does his best personnel, the first unit. So it's important that they get their baskets in transition and semi-transition, that they get out and run. The easier baskets, the better for them. That's how they're going to create their offense. Credit to Jericho Sims. Without Isaiah Hartenstein last night, really wasn't feeling it. Jericho held his own. Now, Jokic got his 31-11 because he's Jokic. But he was sticking him like glue. He was on him, using his strength, his body, just going straight up with his hands, high contests, not really biting on anything, very disciplined defense. He was on him all night, Jericho Sims. I mean, the Knicks have they have a really great blend of size and skill, right? And people who want to but question if Brunson can lead a team to a title because he's so small. I heard an excellent point, first of all, like most players don't win championships, so that's just a lazy argument. But also, Brunson's surrounded by this blend of size and skill, which is so very important in today's game that it might not be as big as people think. He's surrounded by size and skill. Randall, size and skill. OG Anunoby fits that archetype at the wing to a T. Ihart, a skillsy big. He's got guys around him like that. The Knicks, just a perfect blend. This is everything you want a Tom Thibodeau team to be with offense. And the offense shined last night big time. And we're going to talk about the ball movement in particular when we return from our second break. Stay with us here on BD4 episode 617 of the show. We'll be right back.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4 Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You're listening to episode 617 of BD4. The offense has been a little better of late. 120 plus points in 2 of the last 3, 122 last night, then another 40% three-point night, which is important. The team has been shooting the ball very well this year, which has not been the case in the past. But a Thibodeau offense is supposed to be predicated on generating open three-point looks, right? Especially in the corners, on the wings and in the corners, because it's about spacing, right? But it's about getting those open looks on threes. Driving kick, pick and roll kickouts, screening, DHO, generating open threes. And I thought Julius Randle only had 17 points, but he had 8 assists. He did not force it last night. He was very patient, but quick with his passing, like timely decisions. Defense comes, he makes the right pass, the right read. Deferred to Brunson at the end of the first half when he had to. And it's games like this where the stat line might not look flashy. Now, granted, Thibodeau didn't play anybody in the fourth quarter, but like it was one of his better games. Because when Randall's on and he's making smart decisions like he was last night, it's going to be impossible to stop this dude simply because of his gravity. And you've heard us bring up this word before with guys. We've talked about gravity with Mitchell Robinson, his roll gravity. We've talked about it a lot when it comes to Randall, his gravity. The defense doubles, he kicks. If the defense doubles the post, he kicks. If the defense goes single coverage, he attacks the lane. Because when he attacks the lane, the defense collapses, they help off the corners, and he's able to kick out. That's how he found Deuce last night a couple times. First quarter, he found him in the second half, one of those quarters. Same with OG Anunoby in the corner. In the second quarter, he found Dante DiVincenzo in the second quarter like that. He found Dante in the third quarter with Aaron Gordon helping off the weak side. Randall hits him. Dante knocks it down. Go back and watch, not everyone, but the vast majority of Randall's assists last night, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about, where Randall's, the gravity that Julius Randle contains, it opens up the perimeter. So when Randall's making the correct reads, the quicker decisions, it is impossible to stop this Knicks offense because you have Brunson, who doesn't miss any shots, and he's able to relocate. Him and Randall have had a much better two-man game simply because of Brunson's ability to catch and shoot now this year at a better rate. He's relocating. But Brunson's making good passes too. Now, he only had 4 assists, but he's been passing a lot better since the trade. He had a few hockey assists last night. The first basket of the game. He had a Brunson driving kick. Kicks to Dante, who swings to OG. But Brunson was working the pick and roll. He was making a lot of pick and roll kickouts, empty side kicks. Just, working with Jericho Sims in pick and roll. Then he's kicking to Randall, kicking to Dante. He ran pick and pop with Julius. I always like seeing them two work the pick and pop. Feel like they can go to it more. Driving kick out of pick and roll with Sims when he hit OG in the strong side corner. That was in the third quarter, I think. You got Dante moving the ball well in transition. He's working off the dribble. He hits up Hart off the Jericho block. You have the Hart to Dante to Sims from the dunker spot. Play in transition. Great 3-pass sequence there. You have the Dante outlet to Brunson in the second half. The ball movement looked great. And just by the eye test, I don't care what the numbers say. They might be very similar pre-post trade. The eye test is telling me they're moving the ball a lot more. It tells me the spacing is much improved and there's a lot more cutting. And that has a lot to do with OG Anunoby here. I think the recognition was there. Like, the Knicks did an excellent job reading the defense and recognizing the scheme. Like last night, if Denver brought Jokic up to the level, Brunson took that advantage away by going around and attacking. If Denver overloaded help on the ball side, the Knicks would hit the weak side, or they'd hit the outlet, who would eventually hit the weak side. They did an excellent job of exploiting mismatches, getting switches for Brunson. Brunson was getting those guard screens all night from Dante, from Hart. He got the Michael Porter Jr. mismatch, burnt him. He was hurting Jamal Murray in ISO, KCP, even the Joker. The up and under moves, with his footwork in the paint, the ability he's got to just maneuver like that and score on some of these guys in the low post is unbelievable. He had 21 points, 7 and 10 shooting. A very quiet game now. That's considered quiet for Jalen Brunson. I want to talk a little more about OG Anunoby. Obviously, we touched on OG's defense, but I want to give him the game ball because I thought his offense was excellent too.
Bing bang.
26 points last night, his Knick high. 26 points on 56% shooting, 33% from three. He was 3 out of 5, 60% of the line. He was a plus 38 in 29 minutes. Yeah, we talked about the defense. You're noticing he's starting to look a little better offensively. Like, he's starting to create his own shots. Now, I don't know if he did that more in Toronto. He was never a creator, but he's showing that he has some stuff in his bag. Lately, you're seeing a lot of it. He's using his footwork in the lanes. He's flashing the mid-range game off the dribble, step back, side steps, and he's always been good at attacking closeouts off the dribble drive. He's doing a lot more work on the ball lately, and it's paying off. And, I mean, you bring up the young Kawhi. I bring up the young Kawhi comparison. If he can give us this kind of offense where he's scoring, a little more than he was initially when he got traded here, that's the reason they're going to pay this guy $35 million a year. The Knicks, they even put him in a set last night. I forget which action it's called. I'm not great with my X's and O's, but it was either I think it's like a Chicago action or a Miami. I think it was a Miami action. I think they put him in I got to study my X's and O's, but it was either a Chicago action or a Miami action where Tibbs used Precious Achiuwa to get OG going downhill. Precious sets the pin down. OG curls, receives the ball, DHO, gets downhill to the basket. And it worked. It was just a smooth play on the left side of the floor. I don't know what that's called. When you pin down into a DHO, think it's called. It's either a Miami action, maybe an Orlando action, or it's Chicago action. I gotta ask if there's any X's and O's experts. I'm still trying to learn all the technical shit, but I thought he was great. The dude is such a valuable player to this team, and I can't wait till he gets his new contract because he's going to deserve it. And this is a player who I think is going to make this team great in the postseason. And a guy who came along in that trade who did not exactly get off to a hot start, Precious Achiuwa. I'm giving Precious the game ball from off the bench. I thought he was good. Very good. I only had 2 points, but he had 10 boards, 3 assists, a block, and he was a plus 18 in 23 minutes. Only 1 foul. He held his own with Jokic, just like Jericho did. Precious did his thing too. Playing a little bit with the first unit, playing with the second unit some. His ability to switch remains his biggest strength. He's probably the most switchable. He's probably the most switchable big man on the team. And he was bringing what the Knicks needed offensively. All they need from him is to eat the glass. Right? Set your screens along the perimeter, but hit that restricted area. Hit the short corners and eat up that offensive glass like iHeart, like Mitch. And he was doing that. 5 offensive rebounds in the first half for Precious Achiuwa. big reason as to why the Knicks dominated the second chance points game. He was creating those opportunities. The Knicks won 22-13 in second chance points. Precious had 3 assists. 2 of them were off of offensive rebounds. He fakes DHO with Josh Hart, and then he ends up hitting a cutting Grimes from the top of the key. Then he DHOs into pick and roll with Grimes. Grimes knocks down the step back. So he's coming around, man. He's coming around. Is he here to stay? Is this what we have? Like, are the Knicks not going to make a big man move because they think they can get by with Precious? I still prefer a little bit more size in the front court. You know, Precious is an undersized 5, but we'll see. And I think, for the most part, that's it. We're coming up on 40 minutes. So, we are past 40 minutes. I think we'll call it there. Up next, we've got the Miami Heat, who are, they're on a 5-game losing streak. They're not playing great this year. You know, I think they are, let's see where they are currently in the standings. They are currently a play-in. They're 7 at 24-21, 5 losses in a row. They are currently 8, 9, 10, 4 games back from the Knicks. Yet, all of that doesn't really help me feel more comfortable going into tomorrow. I am still as anxious as I'm ever going to be when I play the Miami Heat, because last year the Knicks were 3-1 against them in the regular season, and you know, things happened. Last year the Miami Heat were not playing great either. They took off in the second half. They got to the finals. It's always going to be a battle between these two teams. Expect a low-scoring, possibly double figures for both teams in the points category tomorrow. That's usually the case. It's always going to be a grind when these two teams play. Defense, defense, defense every single time. I want this game so fucking bad. I can't wait for 3 p.m. tomorrow. It's at the Garden. It's going to have a playoff feeling in the building. I already have these playoff nerves in me as I'm recording this podcast. Like, I'm thinking of tomorrow as just like, it's going to have when I'm watching the game, I'm going to get the same exact nerves that I do when I watch the second round. Like, it feels like, you know, Yankees Houston, you know, and Knicks Heat, obviously the history there is much deeper. Goes back to the 90s is really where it took off with the whole Pat Riley thing. But yeah, this is the team you lost to last year. You could very well face them again in a postseason round this year. This is like the Houston Astros to the Yankees right now, right? They need to get over the hump. This will be maybe even a bigger reaction if they can beat the Heat tomorrow than beating the Nuggets yesterday. You know, I hate the Heat so much. I hate their fans. But, you know, they didn't win shit last year. And they're only getting older. And I'm hearing that Jimmy Butler is not having as great of a season, but he's Jimmy Butler, man. Playoff Jimmy. And, you know, this game doesn't mean anything in the long run. I understand that. But you want it for bragging rights. You want it to see that the Knicks have taken a step forward. Right? You want to continue this to try and quiet this Knicks can't beat 500 or better teams, which they are now, I think, 3-2 against 500 or better teams since the OG trade. With 3 very big ones in there. Very big ones. They're playing so well. And the one scary thing about the Knicks playing well is, like, I just have this bad feeling that they're now going to look for a less costly, less productive player and try to improve on the margins. You know, I don't want to say the name into existence, so I'll just say, like, I'm scared it's going to be a Schmorden Schmayward or a Schmile Schmowery or a motherfucking, Schmoosh Brown. I don't want, I don't want to say that. 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 The guy we had 3 years ago playing point guard when he clearly wasn't a point guard, and he's on the Pistons right now. Please. Like, I still want the Knicks to go full force here. And on the flip side, maybe that's what this winning is doing for Leon. Maybe he's like, all right, well, now is our window. Let's go big, and let's get a Malcolm Brogdon. Let's get a DeJounte Murray. Let's not get a Bruce Brown. Let's get, a guy who can help us short term, a guy who can create offense, a guy who you can flip in the summer maybe if you're trying to look for that star. So I hope the winning doesn't really make them look for less and settle now. It will be a stupid decision. A prisoner of the moment, whatever you want to call it, recency bias. That's what I was looking for. I don't want recency bias to kick in. I think the Knicks are great. I think they're going to win 50 games this year. I think this is going to be the best season they're going to have since the 90s, 99. I think they're better than last year's team, who I think I said last year's team was better than the 2012-13 team. Definitely better than the We Here team. This is a great team. I trust them. Anytime I call them the M word again, somebody rip me in the comments, please. And I will take it. Probably won't. I'll probably get annoyed. But they're playing great. And hopefully tomorrow's huge. I really, really want tomorrow. I want tomorrow badly. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We'll wrap this up.
If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. Okay, welcome back to the show. I appreciate you all tuning in. Let's get to our trivia question, but stay with us after that. Talk about one more thing. Let's get to our trivia, though. Okay, so for this episode 617 of BD4, our NYY-NYK-MMA trivia question of the day is, when was the last year the Knicks and Nuggets split a season series? When was the last year the Knicks and Nuggets split a season series? All right, let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. One final time, when was the last year the Knicks and Nuggets split a season series? So let me know. With that said, folks, that's it. Although today's January 26th. Friday, January 26th, 2024. And 4 years ago, we lost Kobe Bryant and his daughter in the helicopter accident. That's insane. It's already been 4 years. Kobe was one of my favorite players ever. I always make the joke anytime I get a chance to that my three favorite basketball players of all time are arguably the three biggest ball hogs ever. And Kobe Bryant, Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson. I'm a huge Kobe fan. So in this studio, you can't see it because the camera's not on it, and I'm not going to flip the camera around because my room is a mess. But in my studio here, I have a separate Kobe section. I've got stuff over on the wall alongside here. I got a Kobe photo when he's posting up Jordan. I've got a couple of Kobe number 24, number 8 stickers on the wall. And then I have in my gaming area over here got the Kobe decor all over the PlayStation 5. I got the PlayStation 5 itself is decorated in Kobe decor, as well as the couple of controllers that I have. The mic is purple. I got a Kobe Bryant magazine. I'm a huge Kobe. I'm wearing the Kobe Bryant Mamba 24 RIP on right now. So I love the guy, man. He was such a great player. Obviously, he was more than that. He was a great father to his family, and man, it's crazy that it's already been 4 years. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know what year this was, but like somebody went off one of these years on the anniversary for 70 plus. Was it Donovan Mitchell? Today, Booker scored over 60. Luka Doncic scored 73 points. And it just makes you think, like, somebody's coming for Kobe's 82 or 81. Somebody's coming for Kobe's 81 very soon. But he's still king. He's still got that number. Obviously, Wilt has the 100. But, you know, for people who weren't born when dinosaurs were around, Kobe Bryant, 81 points. Still stands, but yet today's the 4-year anniversary. Crazy. I still remember getting the fucking news. Log on Twitter, somebody posted about it. I thought it was a joke. I Googled it. I'm like, what the fuck? At the same time, I'm reading about it. I'm watching the Pro Bowl. They mention it. I'm going like, what the hell's going on? I go upstairs. I'm at home right now, and I tell my parents, Kobe Bryant passed. Like, what? They turn on it was crazy. He was such an icon. Like, my dad doesn't know shit about basketball. He doesn't care. My mom doesn't care about basketball, but they know who Kobe Bryant is. They know he's a huge icon. Some of those celebrities just have that impact, and Kobe was a global star, too. So, R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. I hope his family's doing better. Cannot imagine what this day, having to just like, the whole month of January is probably so brutal because you're just thinking of this day every time. So my prayers go out to them. And yeah, man, rest in peace, Kobe. And I hope he's doing his thing up there in heaven. So that is it. That is it for episode 617 of the show. BD4 in the books. The Knicks win once again, 122-84 against the defending champion Denver Nuggets at the Garden last night. The first game of the year that I really missed. Well, I missed the Pacers game, but that was the purgatory game where the Knicks didn't have anybody between the trade. So we'll see you in hopefully another win, hopefully 6 consecutive wins against the Heat. We'll see you in 6-18 after that game. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!